beautiful blue eyes. It's like I hadn't remembered before.
That's a beautiful way to start,
Start.
Radavie. Thank you. Yes, and I'm going to use this and say hello to everyone who's watching and will watch us in the future. Bringing you something new. It's not something new. You will learn about it during our talk. Uh, but now it's manifesting, it is materializing into this world. And someone very dear to me, and you see here Radavie, um, she started it with me, this idea, this vision. We both said that, 2 years ago, Radavie, to have a conversation together to bring our wisdom, to express our wisdom to the world, and to be ourselves and let it just emanate out of us, and anyone in the world who's watching then our conversation to soak it in, right? And
Yes, I agree.
uh,
For me, it's like two friends who are not just friends from the mind, but friends from the heart. And we are sitting here um, sharing our wisdom from the Holy Spirit. That's, because the heart is not just about who we are as individuals, but the combination of the Holy Spirit within us, or the divine, or God, or Christness, whatever words that fits for the person who is listening, is the same thing.
yes, beautifully said. See, everyone, when I heard Radavie, the first time we met at a Conver network
Yeah.
call, yeah, from
Yes.
maybe 3 years ago, and
Yes.
I was fascinated by your voice. I was fascinated what you expressed. It touched me right away, deep in my heart. And I didn't see the face. Now I see the face. It's even more pretty. You're just such a beautiful being. And at that time, then we connected, and I learned so much more about you. I learned that you are a shaman working with the inner child, that is your passion. And later you can tell us also about what that has been developed into.
Hmm.
And yeah, let me know a little bit what brought you to the shamanism.
This has been it's an interesting question because it's a word that I really never wanted to use. And a very close friend of mine, a spiritual friend, she said, "Why don't you put that? Why don't you refer to yourself?" I said, "Because I'm not like what people think a shaman is." And going through my service with my clients, I realized I must put that because I come from an unordinary reality. I step out of time and space. My soul or consciousness goes underneath what the clients are telling me about their issues. I know. So I am not a learned shaman where I went to a shaman to learn. This is something that came in from my soul. And so it's a natural, as someone I was speaking with the other day who channeled, she said, "Your shamanism is the authentic shamanism. It's not about creating things on top of that." So that was nice to hear because I knew that I just needed to add that. It's not about uh, what a lot of people seem to think a shaman is.
Right, and I think what is coming through and is to go back to the source, even the source of shamanism. Even that's separated in different pathways with different belief systems, what they were built up over the last 25,000 years. So the 50,000 years we have to go back to find the source of it, and the different way connecting with the star nations and bringing ourselves in really true information and wisdom and frequencies from the source, right?
Yeah,
And it's within all of us.
Yes, and it's really, to me, a shaman is a direct connection to spirit. Spirit guides the knowingness and the wisdom of that person. It's not something you learn. It's not something you're going to take from a book. It's something that happens in the moment. And what one may say as a shaman in this instant may never say it again. May say it in a whole different way, because it's what happens in the now, what happens in the moment. But that has to come from a source within self that has that connection to source in that way.
Yeah, it's so funny. That is, I think, for me, which was the most difficult thing to find out or to express or speak about me or write about me. I live so in the moment. I'm always, I would say, on. So whatever is expressed in the moment is different every second. And it never, as you said so beautifully, it never comes back. And even if you want to plan something like a workshop, I've learned to let go of that, maybe give it a title that comes shortly before I write it on a piece of paper to get it printed. But even to open up so much that in the moment when a certain group of people comes together, or just in a conversation like us two people come together, to let it flow, to see what is being expressed and what is needed in the moment, because there is so much more that we don't fathom. Yeah, who knows who's going to listen in 2 years, and there's something that we need to speak now already or needs to be channeled through us that happens in 2 years. So that is always something fascinating to me.
Yes, absolutely. And that's the reason why when you live from your spirit, your mind has no idea what's going to be said, what's going to be expressed. So living from the spirit is really, really so different from living from our mind and our beliefs. So different.
Yes. And what I also, not everyone knows us, so I sit here, what is so fascinating, I sit here in Germany, you sit in the US on the East Coast, but even you're not from the US. Where are you originally from? What brought you to the US?
So here's the thing. I'm from Jamaica, and my father was from China, and my mother, her father was from Germany. Yes, and they're Scotch and Irish and African, and I am so excited to feel that I'm such a potpourri of so many people. It really touches my spirit a lot.
Wow.
So when I see someone, I can say, that's part of me. And from another reason, deeper way too, that's, so anyway, I love having all of those different nations in me. And what I didn't have in this lifetime, I have the connection with other nations, like Native American, the indigenous people in South America, very, very connected to that. So there's an indigenousness in me that I wouldn't say that when I was growing up, that's not part of my conditioning at all. I was just different from the rest.
No, you felt that. While you were speaking, what I thought is it's so beautiful. It's the oneness. Really, you embody oneness. You embody that we're all connected. It doesn't matter where we live, on what land we live, but you encumbrance, in a way, the wisdom of so many places, of so many ancestors.
Yes.
So when you said that you could use this potpourri, and it looked like I see like a flower meadow, a wildflower meadow, all these different plants, and that create this beautiful meadow, and that just shines out this light.
I have no idea which ancestors to honor. I would have to get, you're right, I'd have to get a field of flowers.
Yes. But you are one, so that's not at the end, if we acknowledge ourselves, or if I acknowledge myself, then I also know I acknowledge everyone at the same time. If I keep open, and my belief is not just as human beings that we are very connected, but to nature, to the animal kingdom, and to the star nations, and in other galaxies as well.
Yeah, and there's a deeper reason why we're all connected, because of consciousness. Consciousness came before the physical world. And so consciousness that we can also consciousness is a frequency of this crisp love. It's not a human love. It's a love that embodies human and all things, animals and everything in this world. And so experiencing, which I was very fortunate to have an experience of seeing something, of me as a little girl, something was happening to me, I was shown through the eyes of consciousness. And all I felt was that love. So that's what embodies all of us together. And if we really recognize that there's something in all of us, we look different, we have different colors, we have different culture, but we all come from the same source of this oneness of pure consciousness. It's just, and some people refer to it as I am,
Yeah.
or aware presence.
Yeah.
That's who we are.
And you're writing a book. Now I have to go back before we come to your book. You specialize in traumatic work, looking at inner child experiences in us that have, I would say, tightened us. Where we go more into density, right? That's my language. And that hinders us a little bit of expanding, or where we tightened up ourselves so strong that we can really exhale and sense again. So in a way, these traumatic moments, they take us away from a natural state. And through your work, you bring people back or closer to a natural state. And I've experienced it. I was so curious, and you were there to hold and create a very special, a sacred moment. That's now, I think, 3 years ago, and I still remember that, and your voice, and the love was it. It was the love after, my little rebel appeared. I remember, where I could just let go and sink into. And you understood it, because it was not from this form, when I am in the human form, but my trauma that had tightened me and kept me close was along, I think, millions of years before, somewhere. And we were able to go there. That was fascinating and moved me really quick forward.
Yes. And I refer to that as the stream of consciousness. So if we continue to recognize that we are consciousness in the form of a human being, so in the stream of our consciousness in a physical body, which means different reincarnations, I feel that we come every time to evolve more and more, to get back to source, to get back to the one that we are. And many times, like for instance, you, Meilin, and you came back to really clear some things from the past, from the stream of consciousness, because of your specific work that you're here to do. Yeah. And so when we got to that place to work through that and to bring it into oneness with your soul, that was a very beautiful thing for any human being to experience, because what it does, it brings us back more into an expansive state. We are no longer trapped or encapsulated into this little thing, that is so dense that it holds us. That memory, those memories hold us in that unconscious state, and we're living our lives based on that. It's really fascinating how, releasing these past fears, because the fears become dense. It's dense. It's like as you said, it's encapsulated into something that the rest of us is moving, growing, and connecting with spirit. And here is this piece that has a whole different belief, a whole different feeling, a certain fear and doubts that we just need to go attend to it and let it move freely into the rest of our being. And that's what life is about,
Exploration and experiences, joyful experiences. That's what I believe. That is what moves me to experience energy. Since I can remember when I started remembering or reawakening, started maybe 2 years before my son was born. And what fascinated me was energy. I wanted to feel energy. I wanted to feel these different states and go and find again this floating. And now I found it. And while you were speaking, the same year, 2 months later, I painted this painting that's now behind me. And I remember, thank you, and a good friend of mine, Angela, she said, Meilin, it's the inner child. It's the inner child painting. And I said, yes, it is. But now I know why I was able to paint it and why it came through, what it manifested, because this is mine.
It's beautiful.
Thank you.
And the simplicity of the flow.
Yeah.
And perhaps I would say, maybe it's your inner child to express the artwork through you.
Yeah.
Feeling the freedom, and the colors are beautiful.
Thank you.
Colors are beautiful.
Yeah,
I see the yellow as a light. The orange to me is communication, and the lavender is a higher spirit.
Mm-hmm.
It's our higher chakra. It's very nice.
Yeah, and we have conversations, but they're always a different background or had a different painting. And in the last 2 years, I never had the moment or the inclination to talk about that. And now while we're here recording our conversation, it comes up. See, things always happen at the right time.
Yes, absolutely.
It happens always on the right time. And I want to let everyone what also happens on the right time. I spoke about this at the beginning. When Radavie and I spoke about a year and a half ago, about at that time I really was connected, or getting reconnected to sacred sounds of the source, the frequencies. That's short before I start my radio sacred sounds, surprises, and even that I tested on the telephone, and you were always linking in once in a month with a few other dedicated women. That gave me a lot of support, a lot of comfort in moving forward.
And acknowledgement too.
Yeah, to live my dream. And so this title of this show that I'm starting, it's called Sacred Sounds in Expressions, and the expressions does come from you, Radavie, and I want to let everyone know what this is important for me.
Thank you so much, Meilin, and I want the audience to know, if they haven't gone to your radio show, they need to go, because your sound and your songs that comes from spirit is so ancient. It's like the wise woman. I'm very impressed. Like the wise woman. So you're connecting with that wise woman inside of you as you have cleared off the past and the present life. This is what happens with people. They start to live more from their soul.
Yeah. That is it. And I think everyone is yearning for that. doesn't know how
Yes.
to get there. And I think, yeah, right, if we two, you and me, we live as examples, yeah, we inspire, we pull others with us, we emanate our vibration, yeah, sacred sounds. What is at the end sacred sounds? These are frequencies coming from the source. Yeah, if they come in
Absolutely.
light, even then those frequencies, everyone experiences them different. You see them, you feel them, you hear messages, voices, you have inclinations, you have ideas. Yeah, those are all sacred sound expressions and sacred sounds, what I've learned over time. Just a syllable is already so comforting, so healing, so familiar to every human being. And I'm going to use the example of Ma. It is a syllable used in almost every language, and most of the time it's connected with the mother.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yes.
or
Yes.
then in a different other way, but there is a strong connection, and and so even today I invite everyone who's listening, go and find um, when you journey or when you go for a beautiful walk in nature, think about or ask what syllables or a string of syllables you can say or tone or sing to support you in whatever you need support, or if your body needs healing. I invite everyone to go and look for them and ask for them and to express them right out into the world.
Yes. Something came to mind as you were speaking. I had not thought of this for such a long time. The first time I went to Peru, I there's somebody I met. He's a shaman, a healer, a young man, but we had a past life together. So my girlfriend and I traveled with him to Peru.
Mm-hmm.
And his cousin, whom I had not met, she and I were sitting talking, or she was talking about her issues. And in part of the conversation, I just started to sing to her. I had totally forgotten this. And she told me that that song was a song that her mother, when she was a baby or a little girl, used to sing for her. I could never reproduce that. So again, it goes to show, like you too, Meilin, and whatever comes from our spirit and from our soul is directly guided for that person or for the listeners, or to bring that frequency out.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Yeah, if on the radio show, what I've learned, or if I do healings with people, every moment is different. And that's why I used the word surprises at that time, because I didn't know what comes through. Because it's so vast.
It's a very good word.
Yeah, everything, we're so
Surprise.
different, we are vast, we don't understand everything, even in life. Now I don't know what's going to happen throughout the year. If I look back, so many things have unfolded that I couldn't even fathom a year ago. Yeah, I couldn't think even about that they existed or be possible. I could be moved in this world. I could have been at these places. Yes, maybe I set a vision I want to experience, and it would be lovely, and that's the little drive behind me, and to find this joy and connecting with humans and many other beings and far beyond. And so these
You know,
sounds that come through, some are ancient, some are from beings that are living at the moment, yeah, star nations. And even I think now there were a few times where the body of the people resonated, the tones came, so it was their own. I was just the opening for them to feel familiar and say, oh, that's how I function, that's what I am. And to be aware, become aware of it. And once you're aware of yourself and how you move and how your body is part of you, one walks different into this world. Everything gets easier, and one becomes more gentle, and there's such a tenderness. And this tenderness I always love in your voice. This tenderness again, and that's something, this beauty, this femininity, this motherhood, this sisterhood, the sacred feminine, if you want to use the word sacred again, which just envelops someone and holds someone. And the sound is part of it. It can't be done without sound.
No, because sound is a tone also, and the tone in which we use for people, it can be either soothing or harsh. But, I just really want to let people understand that, or to share that my childhood was wounding for me, and I was living from a personality of survival personality. I was very withdrawn. I would not speak about anything that had occurred in my conditioning years, because they were so shameful. And so living and having personalities to compensate those things was really not, I could never have expressed myself the way I am now. It was so totally different. And I would say perhaps the word that comes to me, we are uncomfortable with ourselves when we have wounding issues, because we always want to look good. We always want to be accepted. We always want to be acknowledged. And we have our own place within our beliefs where if you don't act this way to me, then I feel that left out. So people have these ideas about what would make them feel comfortable because of their conditioning years. So when we clear through all of that, now I'm here, I'm a totally different person. And I just wanted the listeners to know that if the wounds that they have, that is in their unconscious and subconscious too, is not who they really are. It's not who they really are. And a lot of it too is not just how we are physically treated. We learn from how people treated each other. And we also pick up the vibration through our energy. And so there are many, many things that children have carried around with them, that a lot of it, they are very unconscious of what it is that is creating the personality and their identity. So I really wanted people to understand that, if they're feeling there's something wrong, I don't feel right, or this is always happening to me, my relationships are always the same, it's because something inside, deep in the unconscious, is attracting these experiences, because it's the belief that runs the show. A lot of people may not realize 95% of what we do in the world, the decisions we make, comes from our beliefs. I mean, it's astonishing. And that's why we keep doing the same thing over and over again until we do a correction to go inside and unravel those issues and those wounds.
Yeah, it is. While you were speaking, I was a very shy girl. I took on, then later in my life, even if, when I in my married life, you take the same rhythms on of my mother, or I acted the same, but I'm not my mom. And so I had to resolve and observe. And there was a lot of forgiveness also work. Or how I stood in front of my mother, or how I didn't want to say to her as an adult. I had to resolve that, to take the time. It was not always very easy. Yeah, I remember the big moment a friend said, "You're living your mother's life." I said, "What am I doing?" I
And here's the
remember,
thing,
and I
yeah,
said, "Oh my God, I don't not." I had a beautiful mother, and I still have a beautiful mother and a lot of love. But so some things that were quirky, and for me, and I'm going to speak about it, is she speaks a lot. So I stayed quiet, and even if I would speak, then it would go right away a different topic. So then why did I even express myself? So I shut down, and about 2 years before Tilo was born, that is the time when I said I wanted this energy again. That's where I found my language again. That's where and the last years really has helped me, and I can't even believe now I'm doing videos, and I did video challenges, like just turn it on and speak, and then do the radio. What healing, what change, what awareness, what a deep dive I did to, yeah, you said it so beautifully. So you said the energy, I pull it dense, but you said encapsulated, which is really, really nice expression, very visual, that it's encapsulated. Yeah? And to put a little pressure has to be put on. That's when we feel pain or really sad when we go in. But we put a little pressure, and so this capsule can then, in a way, explode. And so I had many capsules about speaking my voice, and then anyway, at a healer or the shamanic work, speaking about ghosts or other beings, or conversing with animals. That's something you wasn't in our social vocabulary. No one spoke about it, and even that, parents were afraid, because if I remember when I was young at that time, people were still put in what's in English? It's not loony bin, but we were put in a
in the psychiatrist ward.
yeah, right, a psychiatrist ward, and so that was really something serious, and parents were afraid of those things, and many of us, I think, were punished. I was never punished for it, but I know other people that were punished for it. And I said, so this is right, and it's encourage everyone to go and dive deep, because there's such beauty that expresses itself then when you when you find yourself, reconnect to your soul and live your soul. You speak about soul, I say the source, right? Our source, and create with it.
Many times, we children hide away their innocence, their essence, protect it. So what they do, they create this identification and personality to match what's going on the outside. And they take on behaviors many times just to bring peace, just to be acknowledged, just to be like everybody else. Unfortunately, many of us forget who we are, and so living from this other identification, somewhere in their spirit they know something is wrong, and that's when they now start to work through, like you, for instance, with your mother. Your mother is beautiful, but there was a string attached that wasn't a string of light. It wasn't a string of light, and you had to work through that, because that hooked you to be acting like your mother, because you unconsciously, I think, wanted to please her. So here is this hook. I am not like her, but I have to conform to something here. And once you resolve that and took your power back, it freed you to start living from who you are. It's so beautiful. I talk about life is like a dance. There are some dances that are beautiful, slow waltz. There are some that is jitterbug. There are some that is a different step. Sometimes our feet get crushed by someone, But all of it is, we are dancing our way through life. And it's beautiful if we can look at it that way. There's so much wisdom we learn from going through, releasing the wounds. So much wisdom.
So much wisdom, yeah.
Like you, Meilin, you're just a living light, moving through and, and owning who you are, living as who you are now is beautiful.
Oh, thank you. I'm touched by your beautiful words, and I feel the truth behind them.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Nice.
So, another idea that I hadn't spoken about when we got together 2 years ago is I would love to take this conversation further for people to connect to you, to us, and experience a little bit what you bring to the world. I mean, they've experienced now a lot already just by the sounds, what emanates out of you. And time has caught up the surrounding, because I believe, you set an intention, and it may take years. So for us it took now 2 years to be expressed, and we have something like blab come up. And I would love to take and invite everyone, so once I edited this, to bring it out and for you to review, and give you time for yourself to who's watching and listening, to take in the information that has been spoken about today, and to find the truth of this wisdom within yourself, so it's easier for you to express it. So then I invite you, and Radavie invites you, right, to come then to this blab, and I'll let the dates know, and there ask questions. Let us pour into you. Let us support the jumpstart or expansion, however we want to call it. Call in and or write in or take a seat then to experience Radavie's beautiful work live and in person, right? So
That's
everyone.
a very good idea.
Mm-hmm.
It's a very good idea. And I would really be happy to be of service, because this is my life, see how much I can serve others to become more of who they really are, their authentic self, their true self.
Yeah. So we both write that direction, and that's what we're attracting, right? So what we go out, everyone who's listening and watching this is going the same direction, and it is about also building community. It's time now where we come together to support each other and to lift each other up. Yeah, so and that we can spiral together. You say to dance beautifully together and create a new dance, to co-create and to bring our visions to this earth plane and beyond. For that, why we're here now in this form.
Yeah,
right?
And I am very passionately have a real desire to support people. It just that's a built-in that I came in with, to support people, and I get so excited when I see changes in people.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, well, I think probably it's a deep thing about there's more light, there's more of the Christness being expressed, and it just brings my soul really great joy for that. So, yeah, I'm really,
super.
willing to support people. So, this will be a very good thing for us to do.
I think so too, and it will be fun, and set in a way precedence, and
Yes.
So I think that's it then. There's no ways people will feel it, and everyone, you will feel it if it's the right thing for you.
And then later on, we could set up a program on either Google or Skype, where we can I think we can have maximum 9 or 10 people, so we see each other, and that would be a program that you and I could set up to help people to move through some issues.
See, that is also an idea. See, when you come together, you start, it's the action. You take one action, you do one, you do second, and new ideas are created. That's what I call this. Because unraveling, creating more and more ideas come. Just start. Be courageous to start.
Yeah, it happens in the moment.
Yeah.
Nothing happens. Nothing is important other than now.
Yeah.
Now.
Right. Oh, this is beautiful. Thank you, Radavie, and thank you everyone for watching and listening. And for this moment, this precious moment of getting together and being here for each other. Yeah, there are no words. It's just pure
it's
beauty.
Such a pleasure. It was such a pleasure to be here sharing with you, Meilin.
So
It was a pleasure. Thank you so much.
Yes, and then we'll see us on Blab with hopefully many people who can't wait to connect with you, and we'll go on from there. Okay?
Good.
Thank you. Kisses. Bye bye.
Sending you love. Oh,